In Final Fantasy X, there's a tutorial when leaving Besaid Village that gives you an idea of how the combat system works. In the second tutorial battle, the game puts you into a random encounter with the Water Flan, and Wakka calls you an idiot when Tidus tries to whack the thing with his sword, only dealing 54 damage. After that, Lulu comes in, casts Thunder, and boom, you have the knowledge of elemental affinities and can keep going with the game. However, there's a sense of disappointment one can't shake when Tidus doesn't one-shot the Flan. But what if you could? In July 2011, a user asked this question in a game FAQs forum thread. The general idea was that you could, as long as you grinded enough beforehand, with a user named Hyan Ninja even stating that you could take out the Fiend and Mihin High Road that Auron is meant to deal with. One would hope that this thread led down a rabbit hole of people devising strategies to beat this Flan, but sadly the thread died within a day of being created, and the idea was buried beneath more important conversations. The idea would come back over 8 years later, with a YouTuber going by Requiem Zero uploading a video titled "Only Magic Can Beat That Thing," featuring FF10's PS2 version. Their motivation for doing this was to check if you could skip the Forced Element Affinity tutorial when instantly killing the Flan. While you can't skip some of the tutorial text, the fight does end when Lulu goes to take her turn. So there we have it, this is the first video proof of this being possible. But unfortunately, this isn't the first legit kill. Requiem came into the fight with cap stats on all characters, so it's likely they were modified and not obtained naturally. So what does it actually take to do this without cheating? To understand this, we need to take a look at the Water Flan's stats. The Water Flan has 315 hit points with a massive 120 defense. Tidus has 15 base strength, and given the amount of spear grid levels people usually have at this point, he'll only get one more point in that stat, putting him at 16 strength. To get the damage we're dealing to the Water Flan, we need to do some math, and it's a bit more complicated than you might think. If you want a free and easy way to understand these concepts, then check out today's sponsor, Brilliant. Brilliant is where you learn through thousands of hands-on, interactive lessons that cover math, data analysis, programming, and AI. Each of these lessons are filled with hands-on problem-solving activities that let you engage with the concepts you want to learn about, a method that's proven to be 6 times more effective than watching some boring video. Exploring data visually is a great course to start with, as it lets you work with raw data to change them into visuals that are super easy to digest. I personally love this course as it's something I use every day in my full-time job. This is real-world problem-solving knowledge that'll enhance your critical thinking skills, and it honestly only takes a few minutes a day to learn something new. To try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/Dr. Swellman or click on the link in the description. You'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription plan. Thanks again to Brilliant for sponsoring this video. Now that the bag has been secured, we can talk about how insane the research was for this next section. This was a rabbit hole I wasn't expecting to go down, and when trying to calculate stats using the formulas that were out there on Fandom, Game FAQs, and some other places, they were all giving me incorrect information in one way or another. I knew the information I needed was out there somewhere, but I just needed to find where it was buried. So after spending a few hours looking into this and drinking an unhealthy amount of coffee, I finally had the idea to look in the Final Fantasy X speedrunning Discord, and thankfully I found a working, accurate damage calculator created by users Carryfiend and Evelyn TSMG. Evelyn also has a fantastic damage formula PDF which houses the 2 big formulas related to strength versus defense damage. For the purposes of this video, I'll break this down into smaller pieces overall. First up is our base strength, where we add up the strength stat and number of cheers used, giving us a value of X, or 16 for our situation. We cube that number, divide it by 32, and add 30 to that output, which gives us our base damage. In this case, our number is 158. Next, we have to reduce that damage, which is that entire R formula we just saw a moment ago. Again, the defense of a Water Flan is 120, so if we plug that into our defense variables, we'll get a value of 249 for our numerator, and since the enemy won't be cheered or focused, the B variable will just be 1, and with the rest of the formula, we get our final defense reduction multiplier. This result is brought into the nearest 10th number behind the decimal, resulting in this number. Alright, y'all still with me? We're almost done, I swear. We now multiply our base damage with our damage reduction value to get an integer there, and finally multiply that resulting number by a power factor, or better known as a damage constant. Every type of attack in the game has this constant, and acts as a multiplier for the damage output. For the attack command, the attack constant is 16, and since the game divides by that same number to get our percentage, the resulting number is 1. This gets us 53, which is really close to our final number. Now the game multiplies this by another variable that represents variance, which ends up being a plus or minus 16% of this value, which is randomly generated by the game. Finally, you have the multiplier, which is your equipment abilities, elemental modifiers, and some other stuff. Critical hits fall under this category as well, but crits are disabled when attacking the Water Flan with Tidus in the tutorial. This puts us at a final damage range of 51 to 58 after all the calculations. Since the Water Flan has 315 hit points, the minimum strength needed to beat it with our expected modifiers is 30. If we look at Tidus' spear grid, you'd have to grind levels to reach a final +4 strength node in the area where you get Delay Buster. That's a total of 58 spear levels, amounting to 63,178 AP required to one-shot the Water Flan. If you wanted to do this yourself, you would need to grind AP from piranhas in either the salvage ship area or the swimming section leading to Besaid Village. These only give a maximum of 2 AP each when you get an overkill against one, so expect to be grinding this out for a long time. On March 24th of 2021, someone by the name of Alymere uploaded a YouTube video showing this exact thing, loading into a file on the HD remaster that had 109 hours of playtime logged. He leveled up Tidus on the spear grid to get 32 strength and went in for the kill. This was the first time someone defeated the Water Flan without modified stats, an achievement that was universally celebrated across the internet. Articles were written about it, and people were simply amazed at the dedication Alymere had to complete this challenge. Normally, that's where stories like this would end, but with any challenge like this, there's always another question that pops up. What if you could beat it faster? On May 15th of 2024, a Reddit user by the name of Hollowcore Hammer posted a topic to the Final Fantasy X subreddit called One Attack Kill Challenge. The idea was to plan out a playthrough which defeated every enemy in one attack, given a few exceptions such as the first boss. One of those fights was the Water Flan tutorial. Hammer thought about adding this to the exceptions and leaving it at that, but considering that it is possible to defeat the Water Flan in one hit, that would go against the entire spirit of the challenge. Knowing that someone did this exact thing before, Hammer got to work and uncovered some ways he could do this faster than Alymere. First of all, Hammer found out that the dingo from the previous tutorial fight can drop a lightning strike weapon. The general equipment drop from a dingo is about a 3% chance, even worse for getting a lightning strike weapon, so it would take hours to grind, but it was possible for it to happen. If you remember what I taught you about the formulas, you already know what this means. One of the damage modifiers applied in the variance roll is elemental weakness, which is a 50% increase in damage by itself. This means that the minimum required strength to defeat the Water Flan is 27 instead of 30, but with the way the spear grid is laid out, you can't really save any time on grinding as the most strength you can get up to that point is 26 on the standard grid. That's why Hammer had the genius idea to use the expert grid instead. By choosing the expert spear grid setting when you're able, you get a different grid that allows you to build your characters more freely. It also lets you access more strength at a faster rate than the standard grid. What this meant is that Hammer only needed to grind out 37 spear levels instead of 58, a total of 12,370 AP, and on June 22nd of 2024, he came back to post another topic, one-hit tutorial Water Flan with Tidus. After 53 hours of grinding, Hammer moved on to get his lightning strike weapon drop and defeated the Water Flan in 54 hours and 40 minutes. What was his reward for doing this? Well, if you defeat the tutorial Flan without getting to Lulu's turn, the game never re-enables your critical hits. One could say that this is the game punishing him for breaking it, but you can just save, quit, and reload to get your critical hits back. I don't know about you all, but it's always interesting to see how people come up with new ways to play our favorite games, and while Hammer's journey to one-shot the tutorial Water Flan is over, he still has a long way to go before beating every enemy possible in one attack. And when he does, I'll be sure to tell you all how he did it. If you learned something new and enjoy videos like these, subscribe to the channel. It's free and it really helps me out. Stay hydrated, folks, and thank you so much for watching.